What's going on? Volcano Beach, Sampler King, live from the basement lab, the bunker, if you will. Yeah, just hitting y'all with my wrap up for now, man. It was a few more products I saw on day 3 and 4 that caught my eye. Really, it seemed like they brought out the big guns early this year. Usually they bring out the big guns on Saturday, but yeah, it seemed like they brought out the big guns on Friday. So yeah, it's a couple from Korg that I already talked about that was like they stole the show with, and the Alpha Theta stuff too. So. But yeah, it was a couple more that I stumbled up on day 3 and 4. Just want to talk about those. Well, it's more than that because it's like, you know how it is with NAMM, man. There's so much stuff happened. It's gonna take like 2 weeks for us to really go through all this. So this is like an ongoing thing. Honestly, I'm gonna be discovering stuff from the next month or so probably. So, but for now, I got 3 more. So let's get into those. The first one is the Harrison, the 500 series, man. I think SSL bought them last year, and since SSL bought them, man, they've been doing a lot of stuff. They did first they brought out a console, then they did the little plug-in bundle with the SSL. Now they're bringing out 500 series modules, which is cool. You can get that Harrison sound in your 500 rack. So it's a console. They stopped making them a long time ago. It's not even that many still in circulation. So I've never heard one in real life, man. I've heard, forever they made those plugins, or not the plugin, the DAW that replicated their board. They made that for a long time, but I don't know if they still making it. But yeah, this is dope. It's 3 different modules: the preamp, the compressor, and the EQ. So they basically giving you a whole channel strip of their whole board. The preamp is like 800, I think. The compressor is 500, and the EQ is 500. Not too bad priced. So what's that? 1,800. You can get a channel of Harrison. So yeah, you can get the sound. I'm not sure the history behind like what records and all that will mix. I know one specifically though, Michael Jackson. I know one of his joints was mixed on a Harrison. I know that for sure. That's the claim to fame to the board. But yeah, it's pretty dope. Like I say, it's kind of how I felt about Trident, man. I only saw one Trident in real life before they remanufactured them a few years ago. So it may get to that point where now we're going to start seeing them, more people buying them, because people may not want the Neve or the SSL or the Neve SSL or the API, or even like the Audience. Audience starting to get popular with their boards too. Some people might spring for like something like a Harrison. So it's dope. We got the ability to put that sound in our bundle. I'll probably look at the EQ, because 500 for a 500 series EQ is not too bad, man, especially if it's a quality joint. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit more research on like just the sound of it, just the history of the board. Like I say, if you've been in the industry long enough, you heard of Harrison, you heard of Harrison EQs, you heard of Harrison, like the DAW, the software. But like I said, since SSL bought them, now they're doing a lot of other stuff. So they may be the little brother on the SSL, because thinking about the prices of everything, it's a little bit lower than the SSL prices. Like SSL preamp is like a G, theirs is 8. SSL EQ is like 700-800, theirs is 5. So they may be competitively making them so like they the little brother of their own, so they won't, like, violate what they're doing with their own company, which is dope. So yeah, I can see that. And hopefully the Harrison is not as clean as the SSL, because if it's just as clean as the SSL, it's pointless, because that's the whole point about SSL. It's the gift and the curse of it, that it's so clean it don't really give anything. So if you got some good mics and some good compressors that give you some good texture and some good sound, it's good to have SSL preamps and compressors and stuff like that, because it's not going to really add anything to the sound. But nowadays, just about everything is good. If you spend over $500 for a microphone, it's clean. So a lot of times we need something to impart some texture. So hopefully the Harrison stuff's got a little texture, a little EQ bumps and stuff in different places. So yeah, that's the first thing on my list, the Harrison 500 series, the EQ, the compressor, and the preamp. They're available now. So yeah, cool. Next on the list, small synth company PWM Mantis. Had to put this one on here. It's the guy Chris Huggett, his last synth. Who was Chris Huggett? He made the Nat, he made the Wasp, and he made the Oscar. So he made those like 70s hard to replicate sounds. That's him. That's all him. This is his last synth. He passed away, and this is like his last, like his shot. He called his last shot, and it's a dope synth. It's a hybrid synth. So it's got digital oscillators, but it's got analog signal path like after the oscillator. So it's cool. 2 oscillators. What else makes this synth unique? It's got 2 effects on there. It's a chorus and a reverb, which is not like a lot of times when we get those synths that got the multi-effects engines where you can switch them. A lot of time you only use the chorus and the reverb. You just use the reverb behind the chorus. I know me in particular, like with the Pro 3, I never use the other like the other effects in there. I always use the chorus to add some width or whatever, then the reverb to add some depth, and that's what this one has. It's pretty nice. Like I say, the hybrid thing is what's crazy, because the hybrid thing means that maybe in the future you may be able to, it may be like wavetables or something you can do with it. I'm not sure, but anytime any synth that comes out that has a digital oscillators and then the analog signal path, I believe they should be able to be updated, because otherwise, what's the point? Like, I could just buy like something that's just all digital if they're not gonna update and give me more oscillators later. So that's why the Pro 2 is a weird synth. The Pro 2 is a phenomenal synth. It's all digital oscillators, but there's no updates to it or nothing. They didn't change, they didn't add no oscillators, anything, which they dropped the ball. They kind of did on the Pro 3, if you really honestly want to ask me. They didn't really give us any extras all of that time. I sold mine a few months ago because I had to do anything I could do to get the big boy in the back, man. I'm gonna regret it later, but I never had a Model D, and I saw an offer I couldn't refuse, so I grabbed it. So I got rid of the Pro 3, but it had the 3rd digital oscillator. It was a wavetable one. They promoted it as wavetable, but I don't know why they didn't give us more wavetables and make it easy to put our own wavetables in, or draw them at least on the keyboard. They're not promoting this as that, but anytime I hear that a digital synth, it's got analog filters and everything behind it, if there's no way to update it or use a way to update it, what's the point then, man? Just make it all analog or just make it all digital, because I got a Harrsion, and honestly, this Harrison probably the best sounding keyboard in the whole room. And I got some heat in this room, man. Like, so that's saying a lot. My Harrison will kill all of these synths. So I'm not one of those people that hate on digital synths. The Hydra probably is the best thing in the room. So, but I still like my analogs. So yeah, it's a hybrid synth. It's a last synth from one of the pioneers. It's dope. He was around to give us his last joint. He worked tirelessly on it, and it came out for NAMM. So PWM, remember they made the Malevolent. Malevolent was nice because it was like a dare I say, it was like a upgraded. Well, maybe not upgraded, but like they did a better Grandmother, in my opinion. They gave us like the same type of semi-modular synth, but they thought about a couple things that Grandmother didn't think about. So it's a dope company. They make quality products, and they just gave us another one, dual phonic. I forgot to mention that. It's dual phonic. So it's not straight mono. It's dual phonic. It's like 1,400 bones. So check it out. The PWM Mantis is out. All right, next up is Korg KingKorg Neo. What is it? It's like the update to the KingKorg. Y'all probably saw him. It's the weirdest looking little synth though, but it's a monster. It sounds crazy, but I believe how weird it looks is probably why a lot of people don't have it. Because if you ever got a chance to play one, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a monster. I played one at a convention. I forgot what it was. It was either like NAMM or maybe Sweetwater, the one they have out there. I think I went to that one time. I know it wasn't like home or at a store, because I was like, as soon as I get home, I'm going. But then I forgot about it, and then I saw a picture of it again. And I was like, So this new one, they made it look as good as it sounds. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but the old one didn't. You would never think that it sounded as good as it does because of how it looks. So what's so special about this new one? what's crazy is it's still a virtual analog. It's 138 oscillator types, different oscillators you can use. That's nuts. It's 24 voice polyphony. So obviously I'm not using 24 voices, but that's all your fingers plus some. So yeah. Or like getting sounds that are like super stacked, you know what I'm saying? Like some sounds may have like more texture to them that it needs more polyphony, so you'll be able to still play those with all your hands if you're a real player. 16 band vocoder. That's nice, built in. So yeah, it's like all you can dream of inside of like a synth, but it's a virtual analog. I'm not really into the virtual analogs. I had a few. I don't currently have any. The Hydra synth is the closest thing I have to one, but that's straight digital. They're not even trying to act like they analog. They just like, we digital. So that's not virtual analog. So yeah, with the virtual analog, they do give us, when it's a good one, it does give you the texture and the feel of like using an analog synth with way more features and way more stuff to it. So this one, like I said, and they made it smaller. The last one was 5 octaves. This one is only 3. So I guess they made it for like I call this one a top chauffeur. You know what I'm saying? Like they made it for the keyboard dudes for it to be their top shelf when they got their Rhodes, or I said Rhodes, but you know what I'm saying? They got their main keyboard. They may have their second one like with the analog sounds, and then the third one up top give you all the craziness, all the little Moog basses and all that. I believe that's what they kind of like went for the market for, because this one, because of the virtual analog engine, you should be able to replicate just about any sound or any effect you can think of. So if you can do that with that top keyboard, man, you decent. Like any little song that you and your band might be out playing, you'll be able to pull up the distinct sound from that song from using this keyboard. So yeah, I believe they gained a lot. And like for people like me that don't need the extra octaves, I believe it's a little bit more attractive, because I do like smaller keyboards sometimes, because I could fit more into my rig. I could fit 2 in the space of 1 almost. So yeah, it's cool. It should have a market. The sound of it, like I say, the last one was a monster, so this one should be doubly a monster. It's their own virtual analog engine. They didn't change anything, so it's just basically an update, making it better effects, more sounds, and just a better way of getting around it. Because that's one of the things that was weird too. The way you navigated it was kind of weird. And that little thing that looked like the little, what do you call it? The little valve lighting up. Come on, man, we don't need that. Stop it. Like, stop it. We know this is not real. Like, well, they said it was, but come on, man. It's a virtual analog. Get up out of here with that. Just give me the sounds, man. So this one is just like for the people who want an actual board and not everything in the DAW. That's what the Hydra synth is. Honestly, Hydra synth is like a wavetable synth almost. So it's kind of like, obviously they're digital, but it's like if people like me, I do everything on my MPC. So some people that work like me, they want to do everything outside of the box. So this one is a nice one to add to the repertoire if you don't have a whole collection of keyboards, because it's like you got a whole collection inside of this one keyboard. You're going to get everything except for like just traditional piano sounds. But then again, they might be in there too, because it's got a PCM engine in it too. So they're using just regular samples to make the sounds also. So it's not just their own technology with the virtual analog. They got PCM sounds in there too. So they may have some dope grand pianos and string sounds in there also. So yeah, it's probably not for me, but I can see it being a nice one, because like I said, the last one was pretty nice. If that last one was 3 octaves, I probably would have bought it. It's just that 61, that take up a lot of space, man. For somebody like me, it wasn't gonna be like my main board, so it didn't work for me. So at first, when I first saw it, I'm like, why did they make it smaller? But then I'm like, yes, they made it smaller so people can feel like it's a synth and not like because it came out and it looked just like a Chrome. That's one of the things too. I had a Chrome at the time. So that KingKorg looked like it was competing with the Chrome until I started playing. I'm like, no, this has nothing to do with the Chrome. This is like all the sounds that the Chrome really can't do. That's what you can get out of the KingKorg. So if you have both of them together, I know you're using heaven, man. So Yeah, but the KingKorg, like I say, they surprised me with them mentioning that there's PCM sounds in there. So that means it may be some good pianos and stuff. So if they put that Korg piano in there, that'd be nice. Because Korg has a nice piano, but I think you need a lot of space for their piano. So we'll see. But yeah, the KingKorg Neo, just one of the things that this the Korg takeover 2024 is the Korg takeover. So I had to mention another Korg. It's like 4 more that they got that I'm not even gonna talk about because they came out with so much stuff, man. So yeah, the KingKorg Neo, that's the next on my list. Cool. Next on my list is the Art Solo VLA. This one sticks out to me a little bit because I just bought the 2-channel compressor that's been out here forever. It's been out here forever. It's been out here so long that I bought the old version. I didn't even want the new version because the old version is supposed to have like a better sound or whatever. So I bought the old version and it does sound good. It's sitting in my rack over there. It's on my master bus. I'm gonna give myself a Fusion and I'm gonna insert it so it's the last thing to hit. So yeah, it's nice. So they made it so that it's 1 channel now, which is really nice because, like I say, the VLA it's a dope tube compressor. That's what. So if you don't know what the Art VLA is, it's a dope optical tube compressor. It's a 2-channel joint. You find them everywhere, man. If somebody, it's like a mid-range studio thing. Like when you finally start buying you some outboard gear, majority of the time you buy Art. So yeah, the Art VLA, it's probably thousands of them in the world just out here, first version and second version. I got a first version, optical compressor, sounds good. It's your first time using some of that. A lot of people's first time. It wasn't. I've used a lot of compressors since I bought it, but I just wanted something just to add some texture and some actual analog compression because until you hear the difference, you really don't even know the difference in like digital software plug-in compression and like analog compression. It's a totally different game. So it's like the bottom of the high-end good stuff, which is not bad. It's only like 260 bones for 1 channel. That's not bad. I bought mine used for like 3 something. So that's on course. I guess the brand new 2-channel joint is probably like 400 or 500. So it's not bad. It's competitively priced. And like I say, like they didn't just make that one though. They made the EQ and they made the preamp because they got a 2 preamp 2-channel and they got an EQ 2-channel. So they just bust all of them down to 1 channel and just gave, they probably should have done that a long time ago. Now I'm thinking about it because a lot of people don't need 2 channels of anything. Most people, they just need like 1 master channel. So it's about your levels, man. Like if you can't afford to spend on a $2,000 preamp, the $2,000 compressor, the $2,000 EQ, you can get you a whole channel from Art for less than a G. You can't beat that. So, and that's gonna be a tube preamp, an optical tube compressor, and an EQ. So yeah, you can't beat it. But the one that stuck out most to me is the VLA, the compressor, because I may think about getting that single channel, man, just to get the newer sound. Cause like I said, I got the old one. It got a couple less controls on it. Cause I just wanted something to give me, like I say, just something. So I really did it for drums, to be honest, and it sounded way better than I anticipated it sounding. So I'm putting it on my master. But yeah, I just did it because I wanted to start just compressing and really crushing my drums and doing things, making my drums jump out a little bit. And I just wanted to do it in the analog realm. So this thing is perfect, man. You'll be able to, if you could buy it and just, even if you buy the 1 channel, you do like my man Fam does, and he just processes everything channel by channel. He don't play around acting like, okay, cool, I only got 1, so I'm not gonna do it. Nope. He just go do it and process everything channel by channel. That's why his mixes be nuts, honestly. So I'm starting to do some more of that. So that's why I got the VLA, but I was presently surprised. This thing been out forever, man. I had never used one. I like I say, I'm probably past the level of the Art stuff, keeping it real with you, man. Cause like I'm saving up simultaneously for a tube tech. You know what I'm saying? But for my production setup, I was just trying to get a little chain for my MPCs and my drum machines to go through. So of course I'm not buying 4 or 5 tube techs, but I could buy 5 or 6 of those and have them all in the channel, all in a rack, and just processing different things at the same time. So everything is relative, you know what I'm saying? So everything is relevant. You just grab what you can afford. I can't afford 5 LA2As, but I can get 4 or 5 of those art. So that's why this thing is cool, because I can grab like 3 of these for less than a G, 4 of them for almost a G. So that's not bad, man. They solo channel. So if that's the level you want, you just grab it for your vocal, grab your preamp, grab the compressor, the VLA Solo, and you'll be able to get that clean compression going into your DAW, and then it's gonna make your life easier when it comes to mixing. So, and get you prepared, man, because we wishing tube techs for everybody. We want everybody to grind and be able to buy a tube tech, feel me? So this is just the beginning for you. You'll learn how to compress and EQ in the analog realm. So when it's time, when you can go buy the $3,500 compressor and a $2,000 EQ, you can. You good. You already know what it is to use the analog. So yeah, just you should always experiment, because you got to think nowadays the cost of like some of these new pieces of outboard gear that are good, we getting them for the price of a plug-in. Like, think about what I just said. It's $260. Like, a lot of times you can't buy a good plug-in with good compression, like a UAD LA2A. Yeah, that's $150 right there. So yeah, why not buy a real one and start just learning how to use the analog realm? Because I will tell you, there's no plug-in that compares to like a real analog compressor that sounds good. Like, you might get some crappy analog compressor and the plug-in to sound better, or you can be user error. You could be using it wrong or horribly, and it sounds bad because your settings are wrong. Whereas the plug-in might be more forgiving. But if you get somebody that know what they're doing, there's no way the plug-in can sound better than the hardware, because you're actually putting the signal through tubes and transistors, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going inside of something and coming back out. So it's definitely gonna sound better if you know what you're doing. So I say, yeah, just grab something like this, or any of the 3 from the art series, and just learn how to start doing things in the analog realm, because that's what I started with golden age stuff. So yeah, when I first started getting into analog, I started buying pieces from golden age. Art too, I got like the little tube, the one they making the tube out of. I had that 2-channel joint. So art was there at my beginning too. Now I'm thinking about it, 15 years ago, art was there. So yeah, it's dope that they made these little pieces. I might grab a couple, put them on all my channels for my drums and all that, and process them all out of the box. We'll see. But yeah, the Art VLA Solo, that's the joint. And last, honorable mention, I'm not gonna really get into the specs because it's not a real thing yet, but it wasn't NAMM, but it was announced this weekend. Behringer JT-16, supposed to be their take on the Jupiter. Looks like it's good, look like it's gonna happen eventually. And I was always wondering that, why is Behringer never there? I guess because like they don't want to get punched in the face by like all these companies that they ripping their keyboards off. I don't know, but it's one of the biggest events in the world. And they always make the other one in Europe, but they never come here. That's crazy. But yeah, obviously like that's just my American arrogance. Like, everybody got to come to America. But yeah, I know they sell a lot of synths in America, so if they would have brought that JT-16, they would have had lines around the corner like people trying to try it. So I don't know, I would have brought it, but like I say, it's probably they probably want to get punched in the face, like with these companies that they keep, because they more than just ripping synth people off. They buying all other companies and ripping their gear off too. So I shouldn't even be talking about Behringer, to be honest. I still got one Behringer synth left though, so I can't talk too much crap because I got the mono poly. So yeah, after I get rid of that one eventually, I'm not gonna have any more Behringer gear. Cause like some of the stuff, yeah, like a Jupiter, okay, cool, I could see that, but who am I to say when it's right to rip it off and when it's not? They ripping off current stuff that's like out right now, which is crazy. So, but what we had got the Model D reissue, if they didn't start making them, you never know. I don't know. So yeah, they might have helped us when I'm complaining. But yeah, the JT-16, the Jupiter. I played a Jupiter a few times, man. It wasn't special to me. I like the Jupiter 4 sound better than the Jupiter 8. I guess the Jupiter 8 is for like people who really are players, because that dual layer thing and all that, they don't really appeal to me if I'm like sequencing and making beats on my computer and my DAW or my MPC. So I guess for people that are out playing for real, they put all the bells and whistles on there. So that's why the Jupiter is so special to people that play out. And then you know how everything is when somebody say something is great, everything is great, blah, 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 blah. That's how it is. So I played that thing a few times, not just once. At least 4 or 5 times I've been on a Jupiter 8, and it was not special to me. A Jupiter 6 too. Neither one of those synths are special to me, but I love the Jupiter 4. I don't know why, just the sound of it, just the way you get around on it. I guess the Jupiter 8 to me is like how I was complaining about the System 8. It's like doing math to make a synth sound. And I don't want to always feel like I'm doing math. That's why I got rid of the System 8. System 8 was phenomenal. It sounded great. Every sound that came out of it was great. But it felt like I was doing math, man. Like it felt like I was trying to figure out an equation. The Jupiter 8 feels just like that. So I get it, the people that may like that, but if I'm just looking for sounds and I'm trying to just keep going and move some things and design a sound real quick, I just needed to get this lead sound out of my head. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't need to do all that. I don't need dual layers. I don't need all that. So that's why I always like the Jupiter 4 a little bit more. So this is one of those things. This might be on a cop list for me, at least just to cop it, to use it for a few months and just see how it feels. I'm probably gonna get the UB one too, because I'm not gonna buy that Oppenheim. It's like 5 G's. I'm not buying that. So I may get the Behringer version for a few months. I will say my monopoly does sound good. I had it for a little bit over a year now, like a year and a half, and it's at the studio. I use it like to give me just like regular like just lead sounds. If somebody say, man, I want to play something on top of that, it's there for that. But nah, it's not good enough to like be here though, man. I don't got no spot. It's nothing that it can take the spot of in this room currently. So that's why it just stays at the studio. But it's not a bad keyboard. The JT-16. They showed us video of it in 2024, so that means it may come in 2026. I grab it when it comes. You know, with the Behringer stuff, like the UB, they already got it up on these websites. Man, we're not getting that thing probably to Christmas. So, and that's been up for like 6 months. A little bit more than that, it's been up. So we'll see about this joint. Probably ain't gonna get it to 2026, but it's something. Whenever we see Behringer announce something and then they show us the real fleshed out prototype, then we know they may actually bring it. So yeah, those are my updates or my last little things that stuck out to me from day 3 and 4. It wasn't enough that stuck out from day 3 to me for me even make one by itself. So I had to do day 3 and 4. Those 4 or 5 things. Like I said, NAMM this year, it was dope. A lot of people came out with a lot of dope products. I'm not a keyboard dude, but a lot of people came out with pedals and stuff like that, which was nice. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not a guitar dude, but a lot of people came out with pedals. So it wasn't just a production or a pro audio thing. A lot of people came out with a lot of dope products this year, man. So definitely was kind of salty that I didn't make it out, but probably not gonna do that again, because I'm like, man, these last 2 days I really wasn't doing anything. I could have went out, so I just waited till the last minute to make a decision, and I just decided to stay home and chill, watch some football, make some beats. So NAMM was dope this year. A lot of dope products, a lot of dope software, and we're gonna be digging into this stuff at least for like the next month, man. Like, because like I was saying before, you never see all the stuff when you there, and you don't even see all the stuff as it's coming out. We're not gonna see everything for the next couple weeks, so because everybody waits for NAMM to give that punch. So yeah, I'm loving it. Got a lot of products. I got a lot of stuff to look into. Got a couple spots in my rack. I may be filling up with a few things. Fingers crossed, we'll see. But yeah, we're gonna get up out of here. But before we do all that, do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, Stay in tune with me. Stay in the stew with me. Let's keep going.